This video is proudly sponsored by Newtype. Tools, accessories, model kits, these guys have it. Hop over to newtypeshq.com and use promo code Otaku for 10% off on your next purchase. Hey, what's going on, my dudes and dudettes, and welcome back to another exciting build from the good folks from Kotobukiya. So why don't we get started with the 172 scale RZ041 Liger Zero from the popular anime series Zoids. And without further ado, let's get to it. Zoids. The new century is set in an era where Zoid battles are formal competitive games run by the Zoid Battle Commission, subjected to set rules governed by the judge during battle. Or somewhere around the lines, but you dudes and dudettes are not here about talk about battle strategies or war. You are here to enjoy the granddaddy Zoid of them all, the Liger Zero. Now, when I built the Liger Zero literally close to 3 years ago, this was my very first entry level to build into the Zoid lineup. Now, I did play with Zoids when I was like 12 years old, but they weren't model kits, they were just generic toys. But I told myself if I ever got good at building model kits, I definitely want to tackle this. And as you can clearly see here from the first side of the box art, you get this beautiful illustration really expressing the outer and inner frame of the Zoid model kit. And on the other side, you get a nice introduction on what you can expect for water slide decals, followed by great articulation and multiple options of creating awesome dynamic poses of the Liger Zero. On top of that, you get a small glimpse of the weapon attachment that goes on back of the Liger Zero, which is the main thrusters. So, what can we expect inside the box? As always, you are happily greeted with the instruction manual, with the first page giving you a small glimpse of what you expect for this Liger Zero. So you don't have to start from the head or the feet, you can start anywhere in this model kit and you will be good. Now, probably the best gimmick for this model kit is its interchangeable armor pieces, which unfortunately are sold in different variations of the model kit. So if you want to get those different variations, you have to purchase that separately. As what else you can expect in this model kit, you get a small glimpse of the Z core as well as other expressive areas to really pop out that inner frame. And as for the first and second page, gives you a history of the Liger Zero piloted by Pitt from the team Blitz team, followed by another expressive illustrations of the Liger Zero, which looks absolutely gorgeous, followed by the last remaining page really showing you a rundown on how to construct the Liger Zero when it's fully assembled. And now as for the second to last page, gives you a complete color guide to really paint each individual pieces that you want to make this Liger Zero look. The Liger Zero color is somewhat on a slight grayish tone, while the little rivets are on a bright red and the teeth are on a nice yellowish gold, which looks absolutely great. So the option to do some custom painting is there if you want to do so. As for the first runners up, you're going to get a small assortment of metallic gold pieces which are going to be used for the Liger Zero's hands and teeth. Next runners up are the first set of the armor attachments for the Liger Zero, which strangely enough have a weird yellowish hue to it. I think that has something to do with the aging of the plastic, which isn't a problem, followed by these nice marine blue pieces to really make things pop out for the interior part of the inner frame. And speaking of inner frame, we get these nice dark metallic black pieces that have tons and tons of great surface detail to really express that inner frame's beauty. I would highly recommend you do some custom painting to really make these pieces pop out. Followed by the next runners up, we're going to get more white pieces for the Liger Zero, more metallic gold pieces to really express those hidden areas underneath the inner frame. Some of these pieces do require some silver painting, so it's nice to touch them up here and there, followed by some brown runners, more marine blue pieces, and then more inner frame pieces for the actual Zoid itself. Next up, we have these beautiful dark red pieces that are going to be implemented onto the wrist, ankles, and also shoulders once the Zoid is fully assembled, followed by some nice promotional artwork of the Zoid manga and anime series. And to wrap things up in a nice little bow is the beautiful array of water slide decals. Now, if memory serves me correctly, back in the day, they didn't have as many water slide decals for this Zoid. It was only like 2 decals, so that's fine. And at the very end, we get the final runners of this model kit, which are the assortment of clear pieces, which is the Z core, followed by these orange attachments for the Liger Zero eyes and the booster pack. Now, strangely enough, this set did not come with a small little figurine of Pitt. Instead, you get the default pilot that you would get from the Liger Zero Mirage. I find that kind of weird, but you know, you get what you get, and I'm okay with that. Now, before we get started doing any kind of custom building, I need to evaluate how I'm going to pull off that nice glowing effect behind Liger Zero's whiskers. Now, the effect is actually very simple. The key is masking off specific areas onto the white piece in a way I can illuminate an LED light behind it. So I'm going to use some masking tape to hide those areas, and then once I have it ready, I'm going to hit it up with Vallejo primer to really make those areas pop out.
Can you see me shaking. Hear the sound of my heart breaking. Bless the soul that's aching, hoping I survive. The feeling lingers on every day of every month, wishing I just could forget about you. The weight upon my bones makes it harder to move on. Oh baby, don't think that I'll ever forgive myself for losing you, or for losing you. Left our love up on those dusty shelves. Can't forgive myself for losing you. Not that we were cruel enough to do it. Now I feel so stupid. Don't you feel that too? The feeling lingers on every day of every month, wishing I just could forget about you. The weight upon my bones makes it harder to move on. Oh baby, don't think that I'll ever forgive myself for losing you, or for losing you. Left our love up on those dusty shelves. Can't forgive myself for losing you. For losing you. For losing you.
Now, this next process might be a bit confusing, but just hear me out for a moment. What I'm basically doing is I'm masking out the clear pieces behind it while leaving the inner part of the plastic exposed, because I'm going to be applying Tamiya flat clear inside the inner part area, around 2 to 3 coats to fog up the plastic, but not fog up to the point where you can't see through it, just enough to the point where I can fog it up so I can hide the LED light while at the same time diffusing it in a way where it disperses the light correctly inside the cockpit. So in this next part of the build, this is where things get kind of difficult for me, but at the same time, I like something that's difficult which can prove to be a challenge. So when it comes to putting LEDs behind plastic pieces, you usually get great effects. If it's a clear piece, things will pop out. When it's already a pre-existing plastic pieces, you can also get that same kind of effect, but depending on the color of the LED, that's just where things can be very uncomforting. So here's a good example. I already have one claw that's already been pre-painted, but as you can clearly see here under low light, the effect isn't as bright and impactful like how you would see in the anime. And that's not what I want to do. I want to make sure the whole entire claw is actually fully illuminated. So to help create that effect, I'm going to actually have to sacrifice not actually painting these claws the way how I envision it. And as you can see here from example number 2, without any paint applied to it, not only the claw is fully illuminated, but it's illuminated in a way where it looks very anime accurate, and that's what I want to pull off. So to make this effect work, I'm going to need to actually hollow out the pre-existing plastic areas inside the inner claw with a Dremel just enough to the point where you don't see any like weird surface detail. And then once that is done, then I can actually install some Pico LED lights to really pull off that effect that I really want. The challenge is going to be taking all that wiring and then following it into the arms of the Zoid itself.
What is wrong with me? Do I care too carefully? What is wrong with me? Does somebody know? What is wrong with me? Do my thoughts go way too deep? What is wrong with me? Does somebody know? 'Cause I don't know, I don't know, no, I don't know, I don't know why. What is wrong with me? Say 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 what is wrong with me? Oh yeah. What is wrong with me? Do I love too easily? What is wrong with me? Does anybody know? What is wrong with me? Should I try and take a leave? What is wrong with me? Does anybody know? 'Cause I don't know, I don't know why. No, I don't know, I don't know why. What is wrong with me? Say what is wrong with me? Say what is wrong with me? Say what is
Alright, my dudes and dudettes, as this video is wrapping up, I want to share with you guys my thoughts and impressions about this model kit. So my love for Zoids came at the tail end of the anime series. I watched a majority of the show on YouTube, and just to get a good feel what the show was all about, and I won't lie, I fell in love with Liger Zero. Just kind of gave me like that vibe of the Power Ranger, the White Tiger Zord, kind of that's the kind of vibe I got from it. And when I saw that, I'm like, I gotta find a model kit for this guy. It looks really cool. So I literally built this kit literally 3 to 4.5 years ago, and I enjoyed it. And a buddy of mine was like, hey, you want to build another Zoid kit? It's a little bit harder and expensive, but I think you'll have a good time building it. And then I tackled the Liger Zero Mirage, and oh my goodness, those two comparisons between these two kits are night and day. The Liger Zero Mirage is aggressive, and that guy is designed for skilled builders because you're dealing with smaller and smaller individual pieces and tons of motion of articulation. Just overall, very expensive kit, but at the same time, very challenging. Where this one, it's kind of in the lines of not being too easy, not being too hard. It's in that nice little sweet Goldilocks zone. And what I mean by that is, comparing it to the Liger Zero Mirage, that kit is fun, but man, you have to pay attention to every small little detail that you have to put together for that model kit, whereas the Liger Zero, your mind gets to relax, you're enjoying putting pieces together, you're really paying attention to the great articulation that's been implemented onto this model kit. On top of that, there is great surface detail underneath the inner frame, which really encourages you to do some custom painting. It is fun, and I like that aspect about it. So there's something for everyone, and this is like a great entry level for someone who wants to build their very first Zoid model kit. Now, if I would actually knock it off one point, it would be the water slide decals. Now, what I mean by that is the instruction manual does an excellent job explaining how to apply the water slide decal onto the surface, but it fails to explain where you're supposed to put it onto the model kit. Now, one would say full artistic freedom. Put them anywhere you want on the model kit and you be good. But there are a few people like myself that want to know exactly where you're going to put them onto the model kit. So you want to look for references, look for some old promotional photos of the Liger Zero on various websites, and you should be good. Another area that's a bit concerning, the teeth for the Liger Zero are kind of sharp, so be mindful when you're putting that guy together. Overall, this kit was fun. I enjoyed building it again. I would highly recommend anyone to build up this kit if this is like their very first Zoid. It's great. It's like under $100 depending on where you look for on Amazon. Some are selling it for $150, but we all know Zoid kits are very expensive. So do your due diligence and do your research and find it for the right price. And with that being said, thank you dudes and dudettes for watching this video. Thank you for the new subscribers that came at the end of August. Thank you guys for the likes and shares, and a big thank you for my new Patreons. And I will see you dudes and dudettes on the next video. Later.